Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today is October 7th, which marks the first week of the 30-day challenge, which will essentially just be from October 1st to October 30th, which, the challenge outside of just making a YouTube video every day also includes I'm not eating any junk food, I'm not eating out, and I'm essentially just focusing on my dietary restrictions and just my diet. So the 30-day challenge is definitely interesting and challenging. And when I kind of came up with the food aspect of it, I didn't anticipate that I would be on a contract at a school. So now that I'm kind of working full time and then coming home and focused on like making like a YouTube video and also editing them because I wasn't doing that in the past. This challenge is all about, editing, learning how to edit and getting better at it, getting in the habit of just sharing my thoughts and ideas with the world. It seems like just a number of things have kind of come together to, I don't want to say that it put obstacles in my way, but there's definitely a belief that I've had for a long time, and maybe because I've had the belief it manifests itself. But I firmly believe that, and I think part of this comes from maybe my religious background and kind of what I've read in the Quran or the Bible or just what I've learned about faith. When you make a statement kind of to the universe or to God, you will be tested. And that is something that is totally supported by scripture. In the Quran, God does tell us that believers will be tried. So it becomes important to understand, what does that mean? And, I think that you can have perhaps multiple interpretations of it. I mean, obviously there's an interpretation for that verse for everyone who reads it, but the multiple ways that you could go and look at it could include ideas surrounding sometimes people have a really weird, perhaps toxic relationship with God, where the idea of being tried means in their mind being punished for what they do. And another thing I've learned about Islam or through Islam about the nature of how God is with his believer is that God is to his believer the way the believer sees him. And so if you're always thinking like, oh, God's out to get me and punish me, well, guess what? Those trials and errors are going to feel like punishment to you. And maybe because that's kind of the nature of God that exists in your mind, maybe that is happening. But there are other ways to interpret the concept and word trial, right? The way that I view it is that when you set out onto a task, essentially, the universe or God, however you want to look at it, is going to conspire against you in the sense of how bad do you really want that thing that you're setting that goal for. So for me, like literally day one, I'm being offered to go out and eat. Pretty soon after, I go to work. I don't have a lunch because I wasn't ready or prepared. And the temptation to go and buy something when I know that that's not on the menu for October, to go and eat kind of low quality, calorie dense, sugar dense food that isn't good for me. Those challenges were there pretty early on. And even just this last Saturday, I was having dinner with my friends and, they wanted to get ice cream. And I said, well, you guys can go and enjoy. I'll come with you, but I won't partake in the ice cream. And, they made adjustments. They said, well, what kind of ice cream could you have? Because we'll have dessert after dinner. So I said, well, my friends who did keto and were quite healthy and very lean, they used to eat Chapman's no sugar added. And I said, you know what, if it was good enough for them in that moment, then, it also doesn't necessarily count as junk food. And it has very minimal sugar. Of course, it's really flirting with the line of, is this allowed or not? And I, allowed it today as well for lunch. I zipped home from work to my parents' home and, had a chicken sandwich from Costco chicken tenders. So again, really flirting with the line, but understanding that my initial goal, my initial trial that I put onto myself was really oriented around food that is super unhealthy for you, like sugary snacks. That's kind of specifically what I was trying to avoid. Coming back to my earlier point, it's good to consider these trials as a manner of testing your faith, whether it's faith in God, faith in yourself, faith in your friends. When you set these goals and speak them into existence, you're essentially opening yourself up to vulnerabilities of that goal not being reached. One, either because of your own inadequacies. Two, could be external events just out of your control. Although if you remember my stoicism video, we should focus more on internal events and not put blame on external. That can still kind of depend on the nature of your goal that you set. Or, 3, maybe your goal was just way too high, right? So if I were setting a goal like, hey, I want to hit 315 pound bench press in October. Well, I even at my best, I was close to 225 and I'm far from my best. So there's a couple different reasons why your trials might be too great for you to achieve. But again, understanding that it's attempting to challenge your faith, right? Do you really believe in yourself? Do you really believe in your goals? Are your goals in alignment with who you are and who you need to become? Not just want, but need to become. And that can be hard to know. Obviously, it takes trial and error and pursuing the path to get to, the person you need to be. So next time, you in life, you venture out to, achieve a goal, it would be wise to expect resistance. And even if you don't believe in God or don't believe in the universe energy, just believe in your own laziness and incapabilities, right? I mean, I'm sure many of you can relate to your yearly ritual of setting a New Year's resolution. I mean, how many people do you know regularly set a resolution and don't do nothing, right? They don't change at all. Human beings inherently have a degree of laziness or efficiency as well inside them. We don't want to change. We would rather stick to what is comfortable, what is familiar, what is natural, what our body is most okay with. So even if you don't believe that God is testing you or that the universe is testing you, just know that your own biology at times is going against what your brain wants. And that could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe what your brain wants is just so out of alignment with who you are. But that's a good thing because it means you're striving towards an ideal version of yourself. And you should be doing that, right? You should be pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, stretching yourself. It's a topic I talked about in a different earlier video. But anticipating, the next 23 days ahead, I know I'm going to have some busy nights. I might have to skip out on jiu-jitsu in order to achieve the goal that I've set here, to be able to, record a video, edit it, and get it produced and put out onto YouTube in time. I know that I'm probably going to have some late nights, particularly with the YouTube stuff. I know that, people are going to offer me snacks and candies. There's a reason why I ended the thing on the 30th and not the 31st. I want to enjoy Halloween. Even over the weekend, I went and got a haircut, and the barber offered me like a bowl of Werther original candies, the little sucker things. And I was very tempted to take it until I thought to myself in that moment, kind of divorced myself from the moment and said, wait, no, this is candy. Even though it's a small amount, it still breaks the rule. And I had to tell the guy no. My first day on staff, actually, I remember now, there was two cakes in the staff room, and one of them looked really good. I would have really liked to enjoy a slice, but too bad, so sad, right? I had set some intentions for myself, and to consume that cake would have broke those intentions. And so kind of challenges my faith, and it challenges my integrity, and it weakens me, right? I'm not keeping my promises. And keeping your promises is very important to having integrity with yourself. So to conclude today's video, just reiterating that, whenever you set out on an endeavor in life, just expect resistance, whether it's internal resistance, external resistance, or, spiritual resistance to some extent. And to conclude on a positive note, just know that when you do get over that initial phase of resistance, absolutely, I've experienced this myself in my life earlier, things start moving, motion starts happening to help and assist you in your goals. Things just pick up. And so today in this video, I will note that my friend and I, he knows who he is, we went for a walk yesterday, and he guaranteed that, Najib, if you keep this up, by the end of the 30 days, one of your videos will have caught traction and have like a really big spike in views. And honestly, regardless of if it happens or not, it's irrelevant, right? But we'll see if his statement stands the test of time. Okay, let me know what you think. Let me know if you've ever set a goal in the past and just experienced immediate resistance and immediate desire and challenge from the universe to shift off of that path. Let me know down below in the comments. Take care.